Alright guys, so for the start of this project, what we need is a pencil, a ruler, and a piece of paper, which I'll help you guys get. We have to measure first when we're starting our project for this one because we're going to make a grid. So if you look at a ruler, we have two sides. We have one side with these big spaces, we call those inches, and one side with the small numbers, and those are centimeters. We're going to be measuring with the inches side. Anytime you use a ruler, you want to put this as your end, your starting point, and then wherever the paper ends or whatever, that's what your end point would be. So I'm going to start by placing the ruler at the top of my paper. If you look, I'm going to put it right at the corner here. That's how I know where the start of my paper is. And if I go here to the end, I know that this is 9 inches long or wide. So what I want this to do is to break this up into threes. I want this to be 1, 2, 3 spaces. So 9 divided by 3 is going to be 3. So every 3 inches, I'm going to make a mark. So I'm going to go right here and lightly put a mark at 3 inches. I'm going to count 3 more inches. So 3 plus 3 is 6. So my next mark is going to be at the 6. I don't need to put a mark at the 9 because the 9 is at the end of the paper. I'm going to now flip my paper over and do the same steps here. I'm going to put my ruler at the end. If it's like this is now the end. That doesn't line up. If it's like this is not lined up with the edge of your paper, so it won't work. You got to go to the very end, and I'm going to do 3, 6, and then 9 should be at the end. Now what I need to do is use my ruler that has a straight edge to connect these two lines. So I'm going to put my pencil here. I'm going to line my ruler up till it gets to the bottom of that line. I'm going to hold the ruler down flat with my hands spread out so that I can draw a line. I'm going to do the same thing here for this side. Put my ruler, line up those points, and now I have this separated. The next step, I'm going to turn my paper sideways like this, and I'm going to measure it again. Putting my ruler at the very end of the paper, I get to see how long my paper is, and it is 12 inches. I'm going to go by threes again. So I'm going to start with a mark at the 3, a mark at the 6, and a mark at the 9. Then my next set of 3 will be 12. So I don't need to make a mark there because it's the end of the paper. I'm going to flip my paper around, line up the ruler, make sure that it's right at the edge of the paper, mark at 3, at 6, at 9, and 12 we don't need to. Now I'm going to place my pencil point on that mark. I'm going to slide the ruler and hold it down still when it lines up with the bottom mark, and I'm going to connect. I'm going to do that again, like this, and again, like this. Now, I've made my grid for my art. Okay guys, now that your grid is done, we need to choose a word to write in our grid to create our artwork. So choose a word that's kind of interesting that you like. Maybe love, maybe peace, maybe mom, maybe dad, maybe LOL, maybe your name, maybe our school's name, Gregory, Dolphins. Whatever you guys want, you choose it and you're going to go with one word. So for mine, let's say I'm going to choose the word peace. So I would start at the top and I'm going to work my way over letter by letter. I want to make my letters drawn lightly, so I'm going to hold the pencil so light that it can be taken out of the back of my hand, and I want to draw large. So I'm not going to try. When you're creating your letters, I want you to draw them large and light. I'm starting with the straight up and down line for the P and then the curve, filling up most of my square there. I'm going to move on to my next letter, which is an E, using some of the same techniques that I used to make the P. Long, straight letters, filling up most of the box like you see me doing here with the A. The next few letters we have are C and E, so our word is going to continue down after onto the next row. Once we're finished with the word peace, what do we do next? We're going to create our word peace again as if it's a pattern. So we're going to start with the letter P, and then E-A-C-E. We're going to create our pattern again block by block. So we're going down into the next row, E, A, C, and E. And we're going to be left with 2 spaces at the end. So a lot of times kids say, what do? We can't fit everything in. It's a pattern we're creating, so I want you just to try to create the start of the word again, which would just be P-E in this case. Here you see me creating some other examples, LOL and the word love. You only have to create one. I'm just giving you some examples. Okay guys, so here are the 3 examples that I created. The word peace, LOL, and love we created sideways. If you have a 4-letter word, you can use it sideways and it will fit in perfectly. If you have a 3-letter word, LOL, it will fit in this way. So not all of them are going to need to repeat like the word peace, where it ends with a P-E, but if it does, that's okay. That's all part of the project. It's more the pattern that we're creating. This is the start of our project. Make our grid, write our word, large and light, and the next step is going to be coloring in, which I don't want you guys to start this week because I'm going to show you how to do that next week. So, draw your grid, pick a cool word, write it large, write it light, and get your name on the back when you're done.